Hey everyone, it's Josh from Blockchain DXB and today is the 29th of June 2026 and unfortunately Satoshi, the price of Bitcoin on the global cryptocurrency market isn't looking that great. But here's the thing guys, at a macro level things are definitely not looking good for gold, Bitcoin as well as silver. Silver is actually down 53% from its all-time high, and so far as Bitcoin is concerned, Satoshi, last year it was around the $126,000 mark. Right now it is almost 51% below its all-time high. So things are definitely not looking great, not just for Bitcoin, even for gold as well as silver. But here's the thing guys, it's going to be really interesting to see what the second half of 2026 has in store for us. Now regarding President Donald Trump, Satoshi, he did put out some really interesting information about Truth Social, and this is regarding taxation. Now President Donald Trump, he has warned European countries who are planning to impose digital services tax on US companies, and he clearly said if they do that, President Donald Trump will be immediately forcing 100% US tariffs on all of these exports. So it looks like because of that, the market sentiment connected to Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies aren't looking good. And to make matters worse, Satoshi, regarding the Iran and US agreement, looks like we do have some unfortunate drama, and because of that, the price of Bitcoin in the global cryptocurrency market is not looking good. Now for an average listener, Satoshi, what advice you'd like to give them? And let's focus only on Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, Satoshi.
Well, George, given the current market conditions, where Bitcoin, gold, and silver are all down significantly, and the added pressures from potential tariffs and international instability, it's crucial to stay informed, focusing on long-term strategy rather than short-term fluctuations, while keeping a close eye on new policies and global developments would be a wise approach, especially regarding tax policies mentioned by Trump. This way, you can make more grounded decisions.
That is definitely a solid advice, Satoshi, and all our listeners, the only thing I can say is, make sure you go and look at information from official sources. Now in the Blockchain DXB podcast, as and when we get any update, we'll definitely go ahead and update our listeners. Now in today's episode, Satoshi, the first news that we're going to be talking about is regarding the conflict between Iran and US. And looks like there's some drama going on, where apparently Iran did actually go ahead and launch certain missiles, and because of that, US military has retaliated. Now we'll definitely go ahead and touch base on this, but what I thought, Satoshi, in today's episode, we'll go ahead and discuss what kind of an impact that'll have on the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies over a period of short term, medium term as well as long term. Now for our listeners, Satoshi, it is important to note regarding the Iran-US conflict agreement, there was a memorandum of understanding signed roughly around a week ago, but here's the thing guys, that particular agreement still has a lot of work in play. There's going to be some more information that'll be out in the next 30 days, and I'm talking about from the date of signing, and the final agreement will be made 60 days from the initial memorandum of understanding signing. Now during that time, Satoshi, I'm definitely sure there's going to be a lot of updates, but in the Blockchain DXB podcast, we'll definitely go ahead and update all of these things to our listeners. Now the second news, Satoshi, we're going to be talking about is regarding Securitize, and they are making a debut in the market. Really important news in my honest opinion. Now look guys, there's a lot of hype regarding tokenization, and if you do truly want to learn everything about tokenization, Securitize is a company to go ahead and understand everything regarding tokenization, and BlackRock has already partnered with Securitize. But in today's episode, we'll go ahead and discuss what this news is all about. Now the third news, Satoshi, we're going to be talking about is a blockchain connected to Coinbase, and this is Base. Now unfortunately what happened is, they did have some kind of a problem, Satoshi, and they decided to go ahead and halt the operation, and the block production was stopped for 2 hours. Now when a so-called blockchain network stopped producing block for 2 hours, Satoshi, this is definitely not a good look, isn't it?
Regarding Base blockchain, George, them halting operations for 2 hours does not look good, as you mentioned. Now, discussing what went wrong is important. It shows they are facing technical challenges. This highlights the necessity of reliability in blockchain systems.
We'll definitely go ahead and delve deeper into this. Now the final news for today, Satoshi, is a real interesting news, and this is connected to stablecoin foreign exchange market. And here's the thing guys, Uniswap has partnered with Spark, and this is connected to stablecoin foreign exchange market. So in today's episode, we'll go ahead and explain to our listeners what this news is all about. Now Uniswap coming into the game is definitely a massive deal guys, because when you talk about decentralized exchanges, they are kind of the leaders in the space, isn't it? So in today's episode, we'll go ahead and tell our listeners more information regarding this. So it looks like, Satoshi, we have quite a lot of interesting things to cover in today's episode, and like we do in every Blockchain DXB podcast, we will be looking at 2 news from Dubai, UAE and the Middle East. Do you want to tell our listeners, Satoshi, what are the 2 news? And what is it that we are going to be discussing later on in today's episode?
Certainly, George. The 2 news from the UAE we'll be discussing are, first, the strategic agreement between Infinios and Circle to boost digital finance infrastructure, and second, the launch of an AI-powered virtual human twin project in Abu Dhabi, aiming to transform healthcare. Ththese are significant developments in the region's tech landscape.
Definitely, Satoshi. And regarding the first new circle getting involved is definitely a massive deal, because when you talk about stable coins, since the past few years, they've always been number second so far as the 24-hour volume of stable coins is concerned. Really interesting development in my honest opinion. So looks like, Satoshi, we've got a lot of interesting things to cover in today's episode, but before we do that, a quick word from our sponsors. Hey everyone, this episode is powered by a new sponsor, that is Amana, and they are the region's first and fastest growing regulated all-in-one trading and investing app. So look, guys, whether you're looking into investing in US stocks like Apple or Tesla, or mega giants like ADNOC or Salik, Amana puts the financial markets on your fingertips. It includes gold, foreign exchange, ETFs, futures, commodities, and guess what, guys? They have over 375 cryptocurrencies, and this makes them the biggest crypto selection in the region. Now for the Blockchain DXB listeners, guys, if you want to go and build long-term wealth without thinking about it every day, explore Amana's pre-built auto investment plans, and all you have to do is set your monthly budget, choose your preferred asset category, and let Amana automate the investing for you. Zero fees, zero lockups, 100% customizable. And here's the thing, guys, funding your account is easier than ever. You can fund your account with Apple Pay, Google Pay, credit cards, instant bank deposits, and even crypto wallets. No friction and no hassles. And the best part is, guys, let's say if you need support, you would absolutely love Amana for this, because they offer 24/6 human customer service, as well as a personalized sales support, real people, real help, and the customer support is in English as well as in Arabic. And for the Blockchain DXB listener and community, guys, I do have something really exclusive for you. What you can do is register with Amana using the code Blockchain DXB, or you can also use the link that is in the show notes below. And here's the best part, guys. Once you register, fund your account with a minimum of $100 and at least go ahead and make one trade, and then you'll receive a $100 trading bonus credit to your account the following month. But look, guys, it's real important to note, the bonus is non-withdrawable. It is there to help you trade and learn. So look, guys, if you're looking for a transparent, powerful and easy to use app, that's Amana for you. So what are you waiting for, guys? Download the app now, or you can also visit the website that is amana.app, and don't forget to use the code BlockchainDXB. And Amana, guys, is all markets one app. Next, guys, I'm happy to announce that Blockchain DXB is the official media partner with one of the OGs in the cryptocurrency and blockchain event space, and that is Blockchain Futuristic Conference taking place in Florida this year, as well as ETH Women taking place simultaneously. And trust me, guys, this is an event that you don't want to miss, isn't it? Because for the very first time, North America's most immersive Web3 event is heading to the United States of America, and the Blockchain Futurist Conference and ETH Women event is actually taking place between the 5th and 6th of November. And the location is absolutely stunning, guys. It is taking place at Guitar Hotel at Hard Rock, which is in Hollywood, Florida. That's right, guys. Palm trees, panels, and the biggest mind in blockchain and cryptocurrency is all in one place. So there will be multi-stage panels, NFT galleries, DeFi showcases, hand-on tech demos, metaverse experiences, even outdoor VIP cabanas, and quite a lot more. And the Guitar Hotel at Hard Rock, guys, is one of the most iconic venues in the country. So look, guys, if you're in the Web3 space, cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, or even artificial intelligence space, or just want to do some serious networking, this is the place that you got to be. And to all of you Blockchain DXB listeners, guys, we have something really interesting for you, because you can get a 25% off the tickets. So just use the code DXB25, and the link to the event as well as the code is in the show notes below. And as an official media partner, I'll be doing exclusive live coverage, interviews, behind the scenes access, and I will be spotlighting some of the most exciting projects shaping the future of decentralized finance tech. So if you're at the venue, guys, definitely come and say hi. Maybe we can catch up for a coffee as well. So listen, guys, the code is DXB25, and by using this code you will be eligible for a 25% discount. And the event is taking place between the 5th and 6th of November 2025 at the iconic Guitar Hotel at Hard Rock, that is in Hollywood, Florida. And in the show notes below, guys, there's all contact details for Blockchain Futuristic Conference Florida 2025, as well as ETH Women. And look, guys, this is the future of blockchain technology brought into life, so don't just read about it. Be there and head to the website that is futuristconference.com and go ahead and use the code DXB25. So see you at the event. Next, Advanced Media. Advanced Media, guys, is the largest distributor of professional video, photo, broadcast and cinematic equipment and accessories in the Middle East and MENA region. With over 2 decades of experience, Advanced Media is now the largest distributor in the Middle East, representing more than 100 recognizable brands, including brands such as Zeiss, DJI, Hasselblad, Red and Rode. As a matter of fact, guys, the very mic that I'm recording is being sponsored by Advanced Media as well, and Advanced Media has showrooms in Saudi Arabia and services as well. Looks like they're definitely taking the Middle East by storm. And here's the beautiful thing, guys, they're taking corporate social responsibility very seriously, and they're focusing on 3 P's, that is people, planet and prosperity. Now listen, guys, if you do want to find out more information regarding the statement of corporate social responsibility, check out the website, that is www.amt.tv. And here's the beautiful thing, guys, they also want to be a leader and set an example and reputation as a pioneer and member of the community. And in doing so, guys, they also have an AMT scholarship with SAE Institute in Dubai, UAE, so definitely check it out. And also, guys, Advanced Media is committed to persistently developing, organizing and hosting training workshops, seminars and community events that educate, inform and familiarize consumers with new equipment and the latest technological advances. So listen, guys, do one thing. If you do want to support this channel, go to the website, that is www.amt.tv, and follow the social media channels as well. All of the details are in the show notes below. Next, Startup OI is global one-tech platform for tech. It offers global high-paying tech jobs with flexibility in working time and location, global free tech events, and tech networks to connect with global like-minded engineers. A brilliant platform to listen to the tech experts in Metaverse and to grab their insights. Now listen, all you have to do is download the app Startup OI. If you're using an Android version, go to Google Store and App Store for iOS devices. Alternatively, you can also click on the show notes below to download Startup OI. Next, guys, listen, if you're into fitness, if you're into adventure, if you want to do something wild but still want to keep your health in check, there is a new podcast in town, a podcast focusing on obstacle course race in the Middle East. The podcast is called the Race Pace Podcast. So check out the Race Pace Podcast across all leading platforms. And the Race Pace Podcast is a peer-to-peer community-driven podcast where they talk all about obstacle course race in the Middle East, from Sandstorm to Spartan Race, from Tough Mudder to Desert Warrior Challenge, and also the Government Gulf Games, and quite a lot more. The podcast has interviews with athletes locally and internationally to get inside scoop on how athletes prepare for obstacle course race. In the podcast, they also talk about interesting stories on why they are motivated to do obstacle course race. And that's not all. They also plan to release 7 NFTs. And these NFTs are no ordinary. These NFTs will represent every emirate in the UAE. And listen, guys, these NFTs are going to be absolutely massive. So do one thing, go to Spotify, go to iTunes, go to any leading podcasting platform, check out the Race Pace Podcast across all leading platforms. And finally, guys, not your keys, not your crypto. If you have dabbled with cryptocurrencies and now are seriously getting to protect your cryptocurrencies, there is no better way to protect it by using a hardware wallet. And this is where Ledger Wallet kicks in. And Ledger Wallets are hardware cryptocurrency wallets made by Ledger, a company headquartered in Paris, France. And Ledger's hardware wallets are multi-currency wallets that are used to store private keys for cryptocurrencies offline. And Ledger offers 2 hardware wallets, the Ledger Nano and Ledger Nano X wallets. They are world-class experts with extensive crypto security backgrounds. They continuously look for vulnerabilities in Ledger products in a constant effort to improve the level of security. Now, in today's world, securing these digital assets is a critical challenge, and this is where Ledger kicks in. So click the link below to buy your hardware wallet and support this podcast. It is a brilliant way to support this podcast. So what are you waiting for? The link is in the show notes below.
Now, guys, since you're taking care of that, let's quickly run to the global cryptocurrency market. Now, unfortunately, guys, the global cryptocurrency market is not looking great. It is down to $2.14 trillion. Now, look, guys, in 2020, when the price of Bitcoin reached a new all-time high, the market cap only of Bitcoin was about the $2 trillion mark. Fast forward to 2026, things have actually gone from bad to worse, and the market cap of Bitcoin is actually around the $1 trillion mark. And if you look at the overall cryptocurrency market, it is only at $2.14 trillion. And here's the thing, guys, if you look at the 24-hour volume, it is below the $50 billion mark at $43.69 billion. But here's the craziest thing, guys. the volume of decentralized exchange has actually gone from bad to worse, and the 24-hour trading volume of decentralized exchange is below the $3.50 billion mark, $3.39 billion to be precise, and the total fees connected for these transactions Satoshi is actually below the $50 million mark. It is only at $49.22 million, and the total value locked is not looking great. It is only at $70.36 billion. Now look Satoshi, as we talked about at the beginning of the episode, at a macro level things are not looking great, not just for Bitcoin, even for silver and gold, and now we do have a matrix that does give an assessment as to what the investor sentiment is, and this is connected to ETFs in the world of cryptocurrencies, and it is absolutely no surprise guys. Since the last trading day, which I believe was on last Friday, we are seeing significant amount of outflows in the world of crypto ETFs, and these ETF outflows guys is almost $500 million mark. It is at $453.5 million. Now it's going to be really interesting to see Satoshi how the ETF inflows and outflows react over the next coming days. But what I want you to do next Satoshi is, I want you to read out the matrix that is connected to decentralized exchanges. So why don't you tell our listeners the top 5 platforms in the world of decentralized exchanges?
Looking at the 24-hour DEX volume, Uniswap is leading with 755.08 million. PancakeSwap follows with 409.56 million. Aerodrome has 307.49 million. Pump is at 247.87 million. And BisonFi has 133.85 million.
Thank you so much, Satoshi. And here's the thing, guys, the volume of stable coins has got from bad to worse. And according to me, Satoshi, this particular matrix should have been at least 5 times of what it is. That's how bad the numbers are. Tether USDT's volume actually is below the $40 billion mark. It is at $36.96 billion. Now, when in an idealistic world, guys, only the volume of Tether USDT should be around the $150 billion mark, because only then we can make a calculated assessment that people are using a lot of stable coins, and we can make an assumption that people are buying a lot of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Unfortunately, guys, that is not happening. Now look, that's not to say if the volume of stablecoin increases, there is 100% chance for the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies to increase, because there is a very high possibility that people are selling a lot of the cryptocurrencies, and that is the time the volume of stablecoin increases as well. Now going back to the matrix regarding stablecoin Satoshi, Circle USDC is at number 2nd, and its 24-hour volume is only at $5.36 billion. FDUSD guys is at number 3rd, with a 24-hour trading volume only of $136.36 million. Now what I want you to do next Satoshi is, I want you to read out the market cap of Bitcoin, tell our listeners the 24-hour trading volume as well as its dominance, and do the same thing for Ethereum as well as Binance BNB Coin for our listeners, please.
You're right, George. The volume of stablecoins is strongly linked to market sentiment. If it increases, that might signal buying pressure. As for the data, Bitcoin's market cap is $1.19 trillion, with $15.66 billion in trading volume, holding 56.20% dominance. Ethereum is at $189.39 billion with $5.04 billion in volume, and its dominance is 9.01%. As for Binance's market cap is $837.96 million with $73.81 million in trading volume.
Well, thank you so much for that, Satoshi. Now look, Satoshi, in every Blockchain DXB podcast, we tend to look at one new matrix. Now in today's episode, Satoshi, let's go and look at something called as artificial intelligence coins. So why don't you tell our listeners what is artificial intelligence coin? And then also, why don't you read out the matrix of the top 5 platforms, please?
Artificial intelligence coins are tokens associated with blockchain projects that integrate AI technology. The total market cap for these coins today is $20.6 billion, which is a 0.7% increase in the last day. The top 5 platforms are Chainlink with a $5.40 billion market cap, Near Protocol at $2.37 billion, BitTensor at $1.97 billion, Staked Tau at $1.25 billion, and ICP at $1.19 billion.
Well, thank you so much for that, Satoshi. Now let's do one thing. Let's go and look at the king of all kings, that is Bitcoin. And as we talked about earlier today, Satoshi, the price of Bitcoin has fallen down by well over 50% from its all-time high. And right now it is below the $60,000 mark, $59,444. And since the last 24 hours, it is down by 1.58%. And since the last 7 days, it is down by 7.18%. And so far as Ethereum is concerned, Satoshi, it is down to $1,569. And since the last 24 hours, it is down by 1.36%. And since the last 7 days, it is down by 9.47%. Binance BNB Coin, guys, is down to $451. Since the last 24 hours, it is down by 1.64%. And since the last 7 days, it is down by 6.59%. Now, what advice you like to give to our listeners, Satoshi? What are the key metrics that should be looking at over the next few days? And here's the thing, guys, it is also important to remember that we are recording this podcast in the early hours of Dubai, and technically it is still Sunday in most of the Western countries. So what are the key metrics Satoshi listeners should be keeping an eye on for the next few days?
You're right, George. Bitcoin is currently trading below 60,000, and with those declines in Ethereum and Binance Coin, key metrics like trading volume and dominance will reveal market trends. Also, keep an eye on outflows from crypto ETFs, as that shows institutional sentiment. Watching those figures will be key over the next few days, especially with the time difference in Dubai.
That is absolutely correct, Satoshi. And here's the thing, guys, whatever we're saying is definitely not financial advice. Make sure you go and do your own research. Now, unfortunately, guys, if you look at the fear and greed index, right now it is at extreme fear and the number associated is 16. Now, let's talk about some really interesting update in the world of Iran and US. And what happened, guys, a minor conflict did actually arise a few days ago, 25th of June to be precise, when a Singapore flag container ship was actually attacked by Iran. And because of that, US Central Command, that is US CENTCOM, did actually launch retaliatory airstrikes against Iran in missiles and drone storage locations. And because of that, there's a bit of panic regarding the Memorandum of Understanding. But as we talked about earlier today, Satoshi, it is important to know that the Memorandum of Understanding still needs a lot of work. And in the next 30 days from the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding, we will be getting more information regarding the agreement. And 60 days from the signing of the original agreement, we will be getting concrete update regarding what is going on between Iran and US. But here's what I wanted to touch base, Satoshi. Because of the conflict in Iran and US, along with Israel, Straits of Hormuz was closed, isn't it? But here's the important thing, guys. As of 28th of January 2026, WTI crude, that is West Texas Intermediate, is around $69 per barrel. And so far as Brent is concerned, that is around $72 per barrel. Now for average American Satoshi, as of 28th of June, the US national average regular gasoline price is around the $3.87 per gallon. This, according to me, is great, Satoshi, and the oil prices right now is below what it was in February of 2026. So for the US economy, as of now, the numbers are definitely looking great. But let's say, Satoshi, if the conflict increases, I'm pretty much sure Straits of Hormuz will be closed. And because of that, we might be seeing some increase in oil prices as well as in it. What is your take regarding the oil prices and the impact it will have on the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, Satoshi?
If conflict escalates and the Strait of Hormuz is closed, that could significantly disrupt oil supply, likely driving prices up. For the US economy, higher energy costs could increase inflation. The impact on Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies would be complex. Some might view them as a safe haven in times of uncertainty, while others might react negatively to broader economic troubles. It really depends on how the situation unfolds.
Definitely correct, Satoshi, and I'm so glad you pointed that thing out. But what I want to do, Satoshi, I want to go ahead and explain to our listeners what kind of an impact it will have on Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies over a period of short term, medium term, as well as long term. Now regarding short term, Satoshi, am I right in saying the instant breakdown of peace deal will actually trigger immediate liquidations, and that is actually causing the price of Bitcoin to go below the $60,000 mark, isn't it? And now it is all about flight to safety. And if you look at the matrix, investors are panic selling, and they're moving the speculative crypto assets into more traditional safe assets, probably gold, maybe even cash, as there is a bit of dent regarding the Iran-US agreement, isn't it? Now, what is your take regarding short-term, Satoshi? What kind of an impact do you think the Israel-US conflict could actually have in mid-term? And we're talking about, let's say, a month from now.
Regarding midterm factors like high fuel costs, with US gas at $3.87 per gallon, consumer liquidity will be squeezed, potentially limiting flows into digital assets. Also, continued conflict in the Strait of Hormuz will likely cause institutional investors to hold back on risk, sustaining negative ETF flows.
Well, really interesting point. And what about long-term, Satoshi? Am I right in saying, let's say if this drama escalates, and if oil prices escalate significantly past the current levels, and we're talking about $69 for WTI oil, and $72 probably for the Brent oil, and prolonged global inflation fears will keep central bank rates restrictive, and that will actually pull down the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, isn't it? But here's the thing, Satoshi, I do feel once the initial war shock passes, Bitcoin may stabilize at a lower support zones, but this is possible only if institutional holders view it as an alternative independent asset class outside of traditional fiat systems. And last week, Satoshi, we talked about BlackRock, where they did actually advise the investors to allocate 1 to 2% of the allocations into Bitcoin, isn't it? So at a macro level, things are definitely looking great. But what I wanted to discuss, Satoshi, is if this particular conflict between Iran and US increases, what kind of an impact do you think it will have on inflation? Now, am I right in saying, Satoshi, let's say if this Iran and US conflict increases, it'll directly impact inflation, isn't it? And for 2 months in a row, while CPI data, Satoshi, inflation did actually pick up pace. But here's the thing, Satoshi, I was listening to an episode by Anthony Pampliano from the Palm podcast, and he talked about something called as Trueflation. Do you want to explain to our listeners what Trueflation is and how does it actually differ from inflation?
Now, regarding Trueflation, George, it's basically an independent real-time inflation tracker. They use data scraped from millions of points, like online stores and real estate listings, to give a daily update on how costs are changing, rather than waiting for the government's monthly report. It's designed to be faster and more detailed.
So am I right in saying, Satoshi, this is not done by government, rather it is done, let's say, by private companies, and most likely it will be done by some finance firms?
Exactly, George. It's an independent private company behind it, often drawing data from various sources, rather than the standard government surveys. They pride themselves on being purely data-driven from private courses.
Now, one of the things, Satoshi, I wanted to point it out regarding real-time information. Early in the month, Kevin Warsh, who by the way is the new chair of the Federal Reserve Board, did actually say that the Federal Reserve Board is starting 5 new task forces, and one of them will be focused only in getting real-time information. So it looks like the Federal Reserve Board is working on getting real-time information as well. So that thing is definitely great. But what I want you to do, Satoshi, why don't you tell our listeners the key difference between Trueflation and inflation so our listeners could understand the key benefits of having Trueflation?
Great point, George. It does seem like that real-time view is becoming more important. Now, regarding the differences, the core comes down to how data's gathered, how fast it updates, and how housing is tracked. Official inflation, or CPI, is released monthly by the government based on surveys. Trueflation, on the other hand, updates daily using real-time data points from online sources, making it faster and often larger in scope. They also treat housing differently, using market prices instead of estimates, and have different weights for things like food and transport. That's why Trueflation can sometimes act as a leading indicator for the government numbers. Does that make sense, George?
It does make a lot of sense. So am I right in saying in Trueflation, there are no surveys, and the key differentiation is how they assess housing pricing, isn't it?
That's essentially right, George. They generally skip the surveys and rely on real-time data, especially for that housing calculation. They look at actual market listings and prices instead of asking people what they think their place might run for. That's a big point of contrast.
Well, thank you so much for that, Satoshi. And for our listeners, you should know that the next inflation data will be available via the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and this will be done on the 14th of July 2026. Thank you so much for the information, Satoshi. Now let's go and look at the next news. And this news, Satoshi, is connected to BlackRock-backed company, that is Securitize. Now for our listeners, you should know that Securitize is a BlackRock-based tokenized company, and they expected to begin trading on the New York Stock Exchange, and the ticker symbol for that is SECZ. That is S for sugar, E for elephant, C for Charlie, and Z for zebra, Z for zebra. And the company, guys, will go public through a merger with a SPAC, and they are planning to raise $400 million to support its future growth. Now, Securitize, guys, does actually believe a stock market debut marks a major step for tokenization, showing that blockchain-based real-world assets are becoming part of our mainstream finance. Now, it's important to note, guys, one of the reasons why this news is so important is because Securitize manages over $4 billion in tokenized assets, and they work with major institutions including BlackRock, Apollo, BNY Mellon, Hamilton Lane, as well as KKR. So what do you make of this news, Satoshi? According to me, this is definitely a massive deal, isn't it?
That's a huge development, George. Like you said, Securitize being publicly traded and with BlackRock's backing really signals mainstream acceptance for tokenized assets. It essentially moves blockchain-based real-world assets into the heart of finance. Seeing companies like BlackRock, Apollo, and others involved also gives it a lot of credibility. Yeah, that's definitely a major step.
Definitely, Satoshi. And for our listeners, in order to understand everything regarding tokenization, Securitize is a company you need to check it out, because they are kind of like the OGs in the world of tokenization. And look, as in 2026, the narrative regarding tokenization as well as stablecoin is definitely picking up a lot of pace. So definitely go ahead and check out Securitize's website. Now let's go ahead and discuss some unfortunate news, Satoshi, and this is connected to Coinbase's Ethereum Layer 2 network, and we are talking about Base. Now here's the unfortunate thing, Satoshi. Base network was offline for more than 2 hours, and this was after a block production issue stopped producing new blocks from being created. Now the team quickly identified the problem, restored the network, and confirmed that all user funds remain safe. But here's the thing, guys, despite the outage, Base is continuing with its barrel upgrade, which will add support for new stablecoins and tokenized real-world asset standards while at the same time improving withdrawal speeds. Now unfortunately, Satoshi, this incident follows a withdrawal delay in May, showing that the network is still working to improve its reliability. Now, because most of the users for Base Network are in the United States of America, Satoshi, in order for them to go and find out more information, the best place to go and check the incident report as well as the latest update is via X. But what do you make of this, Satoshi? Me personally, I'm definitely not liking this news, because look, when you talk about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, we take pride in saying that network cannot be stopped, but unfortunately news such as this definitely puts a very bad name not just for Base Network, even for the entire narrative regarding blockchain technology and decentralized world, isn't it?
I agree, George. It does raise some concerns. When a network goes offline for that long, especially one associated with a major company like Coinbase, it naturally shakes confidence in the stability of these systems, even though user funds were safe. It highlights the importance of reliability in the blockchain space. Hopefully, they can learn from this incident and strengthen the network.
Now let's say, Satoshi, if you were to give an advice to the developer team regarding Base Network, what advice you'd like to give them? Secondly, for users of Base Network, what advice you'd like to give them, and what are the best resources for them to go and check out latest updates?
For the team, it's crucial to prioritize thorough testing and redundancy measures to prevent this kind of outage again. Clear communication with the community about the cause and fix is also vital. For users, I'd say it's wise to remain cautious and diversify your assets if you can. For the latest updates, their official status page, Twitter, and any developer documentation are the best places to look.
Well, thank you so much for that, Satoshi. Definitely unfortunate news. Now let's go to discuss the final news for today, Satoshi, and this is connected to Uniswap. And here's the thing, guys. They are partnered with Spark, and they're working together to build a shared liquidity network that makes it easier to swap between different stable coins. And the new system, guys, aims to work like a foreign exchange market, helping stablecoins move smoothly while allowing unused funds to earn yield. And guys, as more banks, fintechs and companies launch their own stablecoins, the partners believe strong trading infrastructure will become more important than simply using new digital dollar. And so far Spark is concerned, guys, they will begin by moving $150 million in liquidity to Uniswap version 4, thereby supporting stablecoins like USDS, USDT as well as PayPal's PYUSD. This news, according to me, is definitely great. And here's the thing, guys. The volume of decentralized exchanges isn't looking that great. Hopefully, with this partnership, we might be seeing more people using stablecoins in the decentralized exchange world. What is your take regarding that, Satoshi?
That's an interesting development, George. Uniswap and Spark building this shared liquidity network for stablecoins, structured like a foreign exchange market, could really streamline things. It makes swapping between them easier and potentially more efficient, while also finding a use for those idle funds. As more stablecoins emerge, that kind of infrastructure will be key.
Now let's say, Satoshi, what role do you think artificial intelligence can actually play in this particular move? Are there areas where artificial intelligence could actually help in building a shared liquidity network? If so, what role do you think artificial intelligence could actually play in this?
AI could play a big role, George, mainly in optimizing the efficiency of the network. It could analyze trading patterns and liquidity needs to dynamically adjust the system, forecasting demand and minimizing slippage. It could also enhance security by detecting potential issues or malicious behavior early on. And for those yield-bearing funds, AI could help manage and optimize the strategies for better returns. So it's really about adding intelligence and automation to the process.
You're absolutely correct, Satoshi. The only thing I wanted to add is, roughly around 3 months ago, BlackRock did actually partner with Uniswap. So this move with them merging with Spark is definitely great, and it's going to be really interesting to see, guys, what the future of decentralized exchanges. So these were some macro level newscasts on the Bitcoin, blockchain, cryptocurrency and artificial intelligence world from Blockchain DXB. In case if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating and share the word across. Now let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go and look at two news from Dubai, UAE and the Middle East. The first one is definitely an interesting news, and this is connected to one of the leading stablecoin issuer, that is Circle. And the news cause is that Infineous and Circle, they have signed a strategic agreement to expand digital financial infrastructure. And this partnership, guys, will focus on Middle East and support global financial connectivity. And so far as Infineous is concerned, guys, they will be integrating Circle's USDC as well as EURC stablecoins into its platform. And the integration will enable faster and more secure digital payments, and businesses and financial institutions will gain improved treasury solutions. And here's the thing, guys, the partnership will support faster cross-border payments and will help businesses manage treasury and liquidity more efficiently, and merchants will benefit from improved payment settlement services, and the platform will support payouts using blockchain technology. And later on, the collaboration will expand tokenized financial services as well, and will also support embedded financial solutions. And both companies, guys, will focus on compliance, transparency and regulatory standards, and so far as this partnership is concerned, this partnership follows KYC, AML, CFT and data protection requirements, and so far as Infineon is concerned, guys, they aim to become a regional leader in digital financial innovation. And regarding the collaboration, guys, the collaboration will help businesses move globally with greater efficiency. And so far as Infineon is concerned, guys, it is important to know that they are based in Bahrain, and they are licensed and regulated by the Central Bank of Bahrain. And if I'm not mistaken, they were the first company in the region to operate stablecoin settlements as well. And Circle merging with them is definitely a game changer, cause Circle, guys, provides global digital financial infrastructure powered by USDC and blockchain technology, isn't it? So according to me, Satoshi, this is definitely great news for Bahrain. What do you make of this news, Satoshi?
That's definitely big news for Bahrain, George. Infineon partnering with Circle to expand digital financial infrastructure and bring USDC and EURC stablecoins into the Middle East is a significant step. It's likely to boost faster, more secure payments and provide better treasury solutions for businesses there. Given Bahrain's focus on fintech, this definitely positions them as a leader in digital financial innovation. This kind of collaboration could really connect the region better with global markets.
You're absolutely correct, Satoshi, but here's the important thing, Satoshi. It does clearly state that the partnership follows KYC, AML, CFT and data protection requirement. Now, rather than saying, Satoshi, this news definitely sounds great, but you can also make an argument they're heading more towards central bank digital currency, isn't it? And here's the thing regarding stablecoin issuers, they can definitely go ahead and freeze your account as well, isn't it? So I'm pretty much a lot of the Bitcoin maximalists who talk about peer-to-peer electronic cash system, they will not be liking this particular news, isn't it? What is your assessment regarding KYC, AML, CFT and data protection requirements? According to me, it sneakily does kind of align with central bank digital currency world, isn't it?
You bring up a good point, George. The focus on compliance like KYC and AML is definitely standard for institutions wanting to connect with the traditional financial system, and it does allow for more control, like freezing accounts, which directly conflicts with the decentralized ideals of Bitcoin maximalists. While it doesn't make it a central bank digital currency, it certainly shows a blending of worlds that some find unsettling. It really depends on what your priority is, efficiency and integration, or privacy and control.
That is definitely well said, Satoshi. Let's see what the future of this particular development is. Now let's go ahead and discuss the next news, Satoshi. And according to me, this is definitely an interesting news. And Abu Dhabi, guys, has officially launched an AI-powered virtual human twin project. And here's the thing, guys, the project is a strategic partnership between Abu Dhabi Biobank and BioTwin. And the goal is pretty simple. They want to improve healthcare through advanced AI-powered technology. And the project, guys, focuses on early disease diagnosis and detection. And it also aims to prevent disease before they fully developed. Now regarding the technology, guys, the technology will support more personalized and precise treatments, and it combines AI with biological, genomic and clinical health data. And AI, guys, will analyze health data to predict future health risk, and this particular project is expected to significantly speed up clinical research, and it aims to shift healthcare from treating illness to preventing diseases. Now regarding this partnership, Satoshi, the partnership was announced at BIO International Convention 2026 in San Diego. And look, as Abu Dhabi is expanding its leadership in genomics and precision medicines globally, and the Department of Health signed a memorandum of understanding, and they did that with Arbor Biotechnologies recently. And here's the thing, guys, this partnership will support gene editing research and also innovative new therapies, and it will focus on treatment for rare and inherited genetic diseases. And another memorandum of understanding, guys, was signed with Novartis Middle East during the event, and the Novartis partnership will support genomics research and advanced medical therapies. And here's the thing, guys, virtual human twins are digital copies of our personal organs and body systems. And so far as the technology is concerned, check this out, guys, the technology uses genetic, biological and clinical healthcare information together. And health information can also come from blood tests, wearable devices and IoT sensors. And then what happens is AI compares the data with large medical data sets to detect health changes early. Now the technology, guys, can identify diseases like cancer before symptoms first appear. And it can also test medicines on a virtual twin before treating real patients. And doctors, guys, can also use virtual human twins to perform complex surgeries more safely. This, Satoshi, according to me, is definitely futuristic, isn't it? What is your take regarding it? And then, Satoshi, why don't you tell our listeners, what role do you think blockchain technology can actually play in this?
George, the potential for those virtual human twins, combined with AI and genomics for personalized medicine, is quite remarkable. It allows for testing treatments beforehand and understanding individual risks, which could completely transform healthcare. It's like moving from a one-size-fits-all approach to one that's tailored to each person's unique biology. Now, on the blockchain side, Blockchain technology could provide the secure data sharing and integrity needed for managing such complex medical information, making sure privacy is maintained while still allowing for that collaborative research. It could even help with managing patient consent for who gets access to their twin data. The possibilities are really broad. Think about it, George. This combination could redefine what we mean by medical progress.
And in the near future, Satoshi, do you think artificial intelligence can also be merging, let's say, with virtual glasses?
Yes, George, I absolutely do. Merging AI with virtual glasses could create incredibly immersive experiences, like personalized guides in augmented reality or interactive simulations. That combination could make data visualization and learning far more intuitive. Imagine having a virtual assistant right in your line of sight, powered by real-time information. The potential is quite remarkable. In fact, we might start seeing those sorts of applications sooner than later.
What is the time period, Satoshi, you think, where, let's say, a person goes to a hospital where the doctor is, let's say, using augmented reality and they're doing the operation first on your twin, and I'm talking about the virtual twin, rather than doing it on yourself? What's a realistic time period, Satoshi, you're thinking about?
George, while the technology is developing rapidly, seeing that level of precision where a virtual twin is operated on first as standard practice is probably at least a decade or two away. We're seeing initial research in specialized cases now, but for it to be widespread and fully integrated, significant progress in simulation and modeling needs to happen, along with regulatory approvals. It's more of a medium to long-term time frame, George.
Well, thank you so much for that, but definitely an interesting news, I guess. So these were the newscasts on the Bitcoin, blockchain, cryptocurrency, and artificial intelligence world from Blockchain DXB. In case if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating, and share the word across. Now let's go ahead and kickstart with the Ask Me Anything series, where listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. So why don't we do one thing, Satoshi? Let's go ahead and kickstart with the Ask Me Anything series, alright?
Sure, George. Let's go ahead and kickstart the Ask Me Anything series. I'm curious to check what questions listeners have in store for us. Hey everyone, it is Satoshi from the Blockchain DXB podcast, where you listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. And we have a question from Raj who asks, could tokenization become the next major narrative after artificial intelligence?
That is such an interesting question, Raj, and the answer to that is yes. But here's the thing, Raj, listen. The only reason why I feel that is only because of BlackRock getting into the whole tokenization game. If you were to ask me if BlackRock, or let's say any other trillion-dollar company, were not getting actively involved in tokenization, my answer would be no, because in the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency world, we have seen so many different narratives. We have seen the whole DeFi hype, we have seen the whole NFT hype, we have seen the whole Metaverse hype, we've also seen the whole AI coin hype. But look, right now there's a massive narrative regarding tokenization. Now I do tend to have a session every month where we go out and talk about tokenization. Now me personally, Raj, I do have a lot of apprehensions regarding tokenization, and according to me, look, tokenization cannot work in open blockchain. It does work better on a permission blockchain, and there is nothing called as permission blockchain according to me. The other word for that is software, and we also need to take into consideration the blockchain trilemma problem, the secondary market, and let's say if individuals go out and buy these tokens and if they are sanctioned by the US government or any other government for that matter, what happens to these tokens on a secondary market? But here's the thing, Raj, because BlackRock has got actively involved in tokenization, I do have to say yes, I do feel tokenization will be the next narrative. But what happens, let's say, if there are newer technologies that come up, something let's say like brain implant, because Elon Musk is working on neurotechnology, isn't it? So could it be possible, Satoshi, let's say if there's some new innovation that picks up pace, maybe it steals some momentum from the whole tokenization space? What is your assessment regarding Raj's question?
Well, George, you definitely bring up a point of contention in the industry. While BlackRock's involvement makes tokenization a very strong narrative, there's also a lot of skepticism about how it interacts with truly public blockchains. Some believe, like you mentioned, that permission blockchains are the more practical route, but that brings up issues of censorship and control that run counter to original crypto ideals. There are also real concerns about regulatory actions and what happens to these tokenized assets if governments crack down. And you're right to wonder about other technologies coming along. Something like brain implants, as you mentioned, could totally shift the focus elsewhere. It's hard to say how that will play out.
You're absolutely correct, Satoshi, because look, when you talk about tokenization, the technology has been in place for a very long time, but only because of Larry Fink, who's the CEO of BlackRock. He did have an interview with CNBC, and ironically enough, Raj, this particular interview was 1 week after the Bitcoin ETF was launched, and at the CNBC interview he was asked what does he actually think about the Bitcoin ETF, and that was the time Larry Fink did actually state he's looking forward to what can happen in the world of tokenization, and only because of that, Raj, we are seeing so much of hype regarding tokenization. But look, Satoshi, I do have a lot of apprehensions regarding tokenization, and as I mentioned earlier, tokenization would work better on a permission blockchain. But besides tokenization and let's say brain implants, Satoshi, based on your experience since the inception of Bitcoin, do you think areas that we are not looking at that could actually steal momentum, let's say from the tokenization world? What about meme coins? What about decentralized finance? Do you think there might come a time where a lot of emphasis and narrative is built around these areas once again?
George, you definitely point out how crucial BlackRock's involvement has been for tokenization hype, especially considering Larry Fink's past comments after the Bitcoin ETF launch. You're right that there are apprehensions, though, particularly regarding public versus permission blockchains, and the very real concerns about regulatory restrictions, which, as you noted, could disrupt a secondary market for tokenized assets. Now, besides brain implants, could other areas gain dominance again? Well, George, when we look at the volatility in the market, you're right to point out that emphasis often shifts. Meme coins, decentralized finance, and even new concepts like brain implants could capture attention and momentum at different times. Once the initial shock passes, if institutional holders view Bitcoin as an alternative, independent asset class, it might stabilize at lower support zones. But prolonged energy costs could maintain global inflation and keep central bank rates high, limiting liquidity for the whole crypto market. So there are several factors that could definitely divert attention.
If I had to put my money on, Raj, I'll definitely think stablecoins. 26, the narrative regarding stablecoin has already picked up a lot of pace, but definitely an interesting question. And that's about all, guys, from the Ask Me Anything Season Blockchain DXB. In case if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating, share the word across. Remember, Monday to Thursdays, we have Blockchain DXB podcast. We look at the process, we look at the latest technological development, we talk about geopolitics, because politics and politicians, they definitely have a massive impact not just on the price, even on the future direction and trajectory of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. We then, guys, look at 2 news from Dubai, UAE and the Middle East. We look at the latest technological development. Artificial intelligence is definitely a hot topic in the Middle East. And what you're listening to right now, guys, is the Ask Me Anything series, where you listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. So thanks so much for listening, guys, and have a nice one. Bye-bye.